This is Sheikh Jarrah. Since Israel occupied East Jerusalem in 1967, Israeli settler organizations have been trying to remove Palestinians from their homes, not just in this neighborhood, but others too. The issue's been subject to decades-long court cases. At the core are two main issues. Settlers claim Jews own the properties, citing Ottoman-era records. And Palestinians argue they were allowed to remain in Sheikh Jarrah through an agreement between Jordan and the United Nations. Lawyers for the Jewish settlers claim that because the land was occupied by Israel in 1967, previous agreements are null and void. Lawyers for the Palestinians counter-argue that previous agreements must stand and that the residents have protected status. Palestinians cannot take Israelis to court for property taken over by the State of Israel. This checkpoint at the entrance of Sheikh Jarrah is new, installed in mid-April. Israelis can pass freely, but Palestinians who don't live in the neighbourhood cannot enter. Even with press credentials, we weren't allowed to pass until the police officer was satisfied we were meeting a resident. That resident is Mohammed al-Kurd. He's used social media to highlight the forced expulsions of Palestinians from this neighbourhood, which he describes as ethnic cleansing. But now he feels, after this latest round of violence, where Hamas cited Sheikh Jarrah as one of the reasons for the war, there is a moment for change.
I think it says a lot about national unity. This is a moment we have not seen in a very long time, particularly since the late 30s. We have not seen the Palestinian people rise up as one body from the river to the sea. And I think it says, it gives me a lot of hope.
Let me show you what it's like when a Jewish settler organization takes over a home in this neighborhood. This belongs to the al-Kurd family. Now this is their home. This also used to belong to the al-Kurd family up until 2009, when a court awarded it to a Jewish settler organization. And they've been living here ever since. That's the distance that we're talking about. We're not talking about huge spaces, we're talking about a home taken over, part of a home taken over from a Palestinian family. Sami Arshad is one of the lawyers for the families facing forced expulsion. He says that the latest conflict has focused international attention on the neighborhood.
This case reflects many of the hard issues of the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. There is a community of Palestinian refugees living there, the rights of refugees, the right of return. The conflict over Jerusalem is just reflected in the case of Sheikh Jarrah. The issue of Israeli settlement and the Israeli occupation and the Israeli illegal annexation of East Jerusalem is there. So it's no wonder that this case is now in the scope of international attention.
After confrontations between settlers and Palestinians took place in May, the Israeli Attorney General has gotten involved. That has put any further expulsions on hold until June 8th, when the AG has to reveal his position. This is seen by lawyers and Palestinian residents as a victory and confirmation that it's no longer a simple property dispute, but one that also has implications under international law. Imran Khan, Al Jazeera, occupied East Jerusalem.